So as I mentioned, the reason why we are having this summer session is because recruiting starts so early. And then if you are recruiting in consulting, you may know that some top firms started to accept applications as early as mid-July, which is in about a month or so, sorry, a week or so. But I wanted to remind you that that's not all the deadlines. But then if you wanted to catch the early, deadline, you will need to start early, right? And then recruiting also tax efforts. Like I mentioned, you would eventually get an internship, but in the whole process, it takes time to reflect, to understand your strength and weakness, and to improve it. So that's why we are here to work with you to understand, the areas that you can improve. And then the fourth point is on-campus recruiting is reliable, but off-campus is where you can find the broadest type of opportunities. I want to take time to kind of clarify what is on-campus recruiting, which means you can meet employers at on campus, either in a info session or career fairs or coffee chats, different types, but they are here on campus physically to meet with you. It's reliable. Every year, there are always employers who are here who would like to invest in, meeting students one-on-one in person. But, post-COVID, we do see that employers are, being very budget sensitive. And then some of them may choose to do events online. And then, so that's why you will need to, go to some virtual events and then reach out to employers on your own. And then that's the opportunity that we call off campus. So anything that is not physically in person is also, another good venue for you to find opportunities. And I'm going to introduce you a few helpful websites for you to find opportunities. Okay. So in the meantime, I'm going to do a quick, just maybe 30 minutes presentation. And, if you have any questions in the meantime, feel free to type in the chat. Um, so I know at Haas, and when you apply, you would indicate your career goals, and we also get the data from the admissions team about the career fields that you are interested in. But when I introduce this very important framework, because a lot of students come into Haas and then just started to find opportunities that are popular. They started to see, hey, where are my classmates looking for? So they will kind of just go with the flow. But it's very important to find, a career that is fulfilling. So I know it's hard to kind of resist the, temptation of, hey, like there are opportunities chasing you, or there are opportunities just out there. But I wanted to, remind you that in the last few years, I do see more students, that say they find opportunities without thinking too much, and then they regret it, and then or they find, hey, this is not something that I imagined before. So it's very important to take a pause at this moment to think about what you value, what are your interests, and what are your kind of personality, and what are some of the skills. So that's a you value, connections, and then that may not be able to find in a very data driven type of role, right? So that's a your interest in speaking, and that may not be very common if you are doing a lot of like data entry type of job, or you are very just very an introvert person, and a sales job may not be a good fit for you. And that's a you have a lot to catch up in your coding skills, and a data analysis type of role may not be a good fit. So I think it's very important to think about what you value, and then try to identify opportunities that fits you. So just really wanted to encourage you to think of what matters to you at this moment, and then before you started to explore opportunities, really look at some of the challenging side of the jobs, and is it a good fit for your personality values. um, and so you may have some career interests in mind. Feel free to type in the chat what are some of the career fields that you are interested in learning more. But I wanted to let you know that there are some reliable source that you can find opportunities and as an inspiration. So as you can see in the left side, that's LinkedIn. And I hope everyone is already on LinkedIn, okay? And then if you're on LinkedIn, you can find me, type in Karen Lin and Haas, you may be able to find me, and then we can connect it over there. And then I want to quickly introduce to you that, LinkedIn is a very good tool for you to find out what are some Haas graduates do when they graduate. As you can see, I want to show you how do you identify your LinkedIn connections. And then this is my LinkedIn profile. And then if you type in, UC Berkeley, you would be able to go to the official page, and then you would be able to click the alumni tab. Let me know if you are seeing the LinkedIn page that I'm navigating. I'm jumping around different tabs. Can someone type in the chat and let me know? Good. I saw some replies. Okay. Private equity venture capital is also a good field. Okay. If you can see my screen about LinkedIn, can someone type just one in the chat? This is the page that you, okay, good. Thank you. Thank you, Jacob. Thank you. So this is the LinkedIn page. And then if you click alumni, you can see that where they are working in. And then again, this is all UC Berkeley. And then if you wanted to choose Haas, you can type in, keyword, and then you can see where they are working in. And then, so this is your networking starts from here. And you can see some MBAs or some PhD programs alumni. But then you can also find some your undergrad alum as well. So look at where they are right now. Then you can get an inspiration. And that's it. In the past, we see very few people getting into sports management field. But if you can find someone in that field, that becomes your network, and then you can go ahead and connect with them, and then schedule a coffee chat with them. And then, so our office also do surveys to graduating class every year. So this is the website called Where Do Cal Grads Go? If you search our website, career.berkeley.edu, and then just search Where Do Cal Grads Go? This is the dashboard that we keep in the last you can see the data from the last 3 years. And then so the drop down menu, you may want to choose Haas School of Business, and then you can see that all the data for the last 3, or you wanted to see like okay, 2024, and then this data gives you a quick sense of where our graduates go. And then you can see that maybe class of 2024, we have most students maybe stay in California. And then a lot of them started working full time, and some choose to go to grad school, and some are still looking. This is the survey that we send out in the 3 months after they graduate. And then things may change in after 3 months, but you can see that a lot of them stay in Bay Area, some go to Southern California, and then you can see that those employment data, and then this is the employment spread out, the industry breakdowns. Take your time to just explore a little bit, so then you can get a better sense of what your career possibility is. Okay, you can see the data, and then salary, and then also industries, and their this is from the student response. But we have the last 3 years data, and then you can take this as an reference. As you can see, a lot of our graduates go to either accounting, banking, consulting, tech are the top fields. Okay. So this is the two platform for you to explore career opportunities. Okay. And then so I think you now all have access to Handshake. Type in the chat, type 1 in the chat if you're already on Handshake now. I think for Berkeley continuing students, you're certainly on Handshake already, but I'm sure all those transfer students, particularly those who enrolled in Precore, would also have access to Handshake now. And Handshake is really helpful in a lot of our events and even appointments, and then resources are embedded in this platform. So it's a good friend of yours in the next 2 years. So I want to quickly introduce to you that the essential functions. So of course you can search internship and jobs in by click this jobs tab, and then you can search any keywords. So let's say you want to, somebody say, I want to find opportunities in venture capital. And then you can search this venture capital keyword. And then let's say you wanted to search um, internship. And then you, and then you can see create job alerts like this. Okay. You wanted to turn this on. So when, new venture capital internship is available, you got a email reminder. Okay. And then because I know you would be very busy, and then your email would be, there would be a lot of emails in your inbox. So it's very important to stay on top of newly posted opportunities. And then here on this event tab, you can see all the upcoming events. And then I'll be introducing some BCE events, but here you can either find, that's a career fairs. And then as you can see, there are a lot of that it's already lined up. And then September 10th is the day that you wanted to join this fall business consulting and public service career fair, that it's very relevant to you. And we have other topics like STEM, civil engineering, graduate school fair as well. And then, employers, this is another tab that you wanted to explore. Imagine that, let's say you wanted someone who's interested in accounting may find EY as an accounting firm, and then you can follow them just like other social media. So when that's say EY posts a job opportunity, that you would get notified. And here you can also see some people. So that's say some of the recruiters, they may post their information here. You can reach out to them. And then this is summer, but in the future, if they have events, you will see them here. So this is also a very good opportunity for you to explore particular companies' opportunities. And then underneath employers, there's Career Center. And then you can see this is the place that you can make appointments with me or Janelle, and another counselor also sees her student. Her name is Priscilla. And then you can see all the resources that I will be introducing in the next few minutes. But yeah, Handshake is your good friend, so start to explore it now. So yeah, as just what I have already shown you, you can schedule appointments, apply to jobs and internships, learn about events, and then connecting with, stay on top of employer events and accessing some online resources. Really wanted you to, take advantage of this. Okay. So this is very special to us, but starting from now, you can find a mentor. A mentor means someone who had, gone through the process, studying at Haas as an undergrad student, and then a lot of them volunteer to give back to Haas community as a mentor. So it's a 1 year, program. So starting from fall all the way to, spring 26, you would be paired up with a mentor. So right now you can sign up to get a mentor. In this survey, you would be asked questions about what career fields that you are interested in, and then the system would try to match alumni that fit your needs, either share with the same career interests or other preference that you indicated. So this is very helpful tools. So mentor can help you not just navigate career, but also that say, introduce how to even, success academically at Haas. And then, because they know, all the different aspects of life at Haas. So they are someone who can, share their wisdom with you. So strongly recommend that you started to, fill out, and then you would be paired up with a mentor as later of the summer. So you can now scan the QR code. It's called Mentor Collective. And so strongly recommend that you find someone who can guide you in the next year. Um, and so I know if you think of, hey, like, okay, recruiting timeline is approaching, and then the first thing that you think you may need is, oh, I need a resume review, right? So I wanted to introduce to you this AI-based platform. So I know your generation is very tech savvy, so you may have already utilized some, AI tool, but I want to introduce to you this platform that we purchased. So it's called Ramped. So here you will see the link. If you can search Ramped UC Berkeley, you can find that, hey, this is the platform, and you can see that this is a simple resume that I uploaded from a student, and then you can see like it can use AI to help generate resume summaries for you, and of course this is as a foundation, so then you can modify and edit afterwards. So it can also help you identify the fields. So let's say you wanted to type in the desired role as venture capital or accounting, and then they can help you generate bullet points that fits the position. So we found that this is a very helpful tool. So that's why BCE as an office we subscribe to this tool. And Ramped can also help you, track other jobs and apply to other jobs. And this is very helpful. So strongly recommend that you start utilizing it today. And then if you have difficulty locating the website, just search Ramped and then Berkeley Career Engagement. You will be able to find the link. Okay. I know someone just joined, so welcome. And if you have any question in the meantime, when I'm doing this presentation, please type in the chat. Okay. I know some of you are transfer students that may not have a lot of experience yet. And so but you have to search for summer 26 internship right now. So meaning like employers are looking for experience, but you are also applying for that experience itself. So it's a very important. It's very important that you prepare yourself, gain some relevant experience. So even if you are not doing an internship right now, you are taking summer class or just travel with families this summer, you can still utilize this platform called Forage. So this is also a platform that we recently purchased. It has very helpful virtual internship modules for you. So I want to quickly show you. So this is Forage. And then if you wanted to learn more about banking and financial services, for example, and then you can see that a lot of companies, all well-known companies like JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, Citi, they post their virtual internship modules here for you to learn. So as you can see, they are 3-4 hours total. So I myself give it a try to, let's say, some modules, and then as you can see, they will tell you like how much time you will need to invest it in what are some of the tasks. So for example, you will be watching a quick video and then do a few quiz, and then maybe you given a case for you to work on, and then you type your answer in, and then after maybe 3-4 hours finished, you finish the module, you will get a certification, and that you can add it to your resume. So when you are applying to a finance job, they know, oh, you already finished JP Morgan's investment banking module on Forage, and that's a credibility that you are adding to your resume. Strongly recommend that you take advantage of this platform. It has many well-known companies, posted, and then it also has a lot of different fields. As you can see, data, law, accounting, consulting. So strongly recommend, particularly if you don't have a lot of experience yet, this is a good place for you to get started. And again, the name is Forage. So that's something that you can do right now to increase the competitiveness of your resume. And then I know it's still early that you may not have interview invite yet, but I want to introduce to you this platform called Big Interview. And this is a screenshot. It's very, again, also AI based. But if you can start practicing, some of the frequently asked question, a lot of employer did give feedback to me that Berkeley students are very good at writing resumes, but then their performance on interview really needs to improve. So this is a platform, again, you can start using right now. So it has a big database of the frequently asked questions of different career fairs. Like, okay, venture capital, they would have a few question set, and you can practice recording it. And as you can see right now, a lot of first round interviews are virtual, so you may want to like record yourself, and then practice like looking at the camera, and then AI would analyze your overall speed, pace, vocabulary, and filler words. I say a lot of filler words myself, so this is very helpful. The feedbacks, you can practice your interview anytime when you are available. And of course, when you are done with the practicing, you can schedule an appointment with me when you are actually going to an interview that you want to practice with myself. Yeah, so Big Interview, it's also a platform that I would strongly recommend that you start utilizing it. And it would be very helpful as well when you get the actual interview invite. Right? And then, so our office try to engage with students in different platforms. So we are on Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. As you can see, we try really hard to get on where students are, but please at least follow our Instagram account, because we are producing a lot of short videos that gets you like really quick career advice. And then it also lets you know what are some of the very recent activities and events you can participate. So stay tuned on it, so you can learn all the up-to-date information about what we are doing. I also wanted to quickly introduce some of the resources that you may not realize available. So your resume do not need a headshot, but your LinkedIn profile do need it, right? So BCE, we purchased this expensive but also very helpful photo booth that you don't need to hire someone to take a professional photo for you. So you can stop by our office. During the summer, we only open Tuesday and Wednesday, but when school year starts, you can go there Monday through Thursday, like 8:30 to 4:30. So when we are open, you can just drop in and no appointment needed. Go to this photo booth, take the professional headshot. It has very good lighting, and it would produce high quality pictures for you. Immediately send it to your email, and then you can edit it. So 3 pictures each time, very effective. And so strongly recommend that you take advantage of that. And my profile picture at the first page of this presentation is also taken in this photo booth. So strongly recommend that you utilize it. And then on the right side, you can see we have interview rooms. It's hard to find a quiet campus venue to do your interview. So strongly recommend that you take advantage of what we offered. We have 4 interview rooms. You can book it on Handshake. As you can see, it has whiteboards, computers, cameras, so you can do your first rounds. So again, we try to meet your career needs by offering some facilities here. Okay. And then, of course, as I mentioned, I'm your designated career counselor. And then besides me, there's 2 other staff members that can meet with you. We can meet with you one-on-one to talk about your individual career needs. And then when school starts, you can also meet with our peer advisor. So they are mostly senior students, and then some juniors, they're well trained. They can, do quick resume review with you, answer your questions. And then again, no appointment needed. You can just drop in our office. And they understand your needs, and so strongly recommend that you utilize the resource. And then we also have a lot of events lined up, as I shared with you on Handshake. And then September 10th is the career fairs that it's related to your majors. So save the date. And then the September 10th career fair would take place in RSF, which is our gym, basically. And then you can see that the picture is, we would have a lot of employers each have a table, and then have a few representatives come to campus to talk with you about their opportunities. And then, so in the school year, during the school year, we also do workshops and networking events to help you connect with employers and alumni. So all you need to do is to read the emails that I send out. I send a weekly email about career events, newly posted internships and jobs. So be sure to read it. I want to quickly show you this career fairs on the September 10th, and then kind of just share with you like how you can prepare for that. So as you can see, events on Handshake, and then click the career fair at your school, and then you can see the business and consulting and public service career fairs. Here you can see the list of the employers. Of course, we are just updating it. The career fair is about 2 months away. So as you can see, you can see which employee is coming to this career fair, and you can do some research. So for example, Analysis Group is an econ consulting firm, and you can read, of course, what they are looking for. They are looking for full-time internship and jobs. And then, you can, they may not have posted their jobs yet, but at this moment you can research them, go to their website, and then maybe do a little bit research about what is the econ consulting, what are their specialties, and trying to find someone who work at this firm to connect with. And then, so I want to quickly show you, go to their page, and then you can see, hey, this is the company overview. And then, moving forward, they may post their jobs here, and then you can see those are the people who either is a recruiter or recruiting manager or some other alumni that you can connect with. And then if you are an international student, you can also see that they have work authorization policies here. But I also would like to recommend that you go to talk to them and then explain your situation to them in person, because not every employer knows what this work authorization means. So yeah, this would be updated, but I strongly recommend that you do research before a career fair to see who is, coming and what they are hiring for. Get a little bit, questions prepared before you go to that career fair. Okay. So this is events that we hosted. And then, okay, so I want to pause and see if anyone has questions before I go to recruiting timeline. All right. No worries. If you think of any questions arise, feel free to type in the chat. So this captures a majority of the career fields that undergrad students are looking for, their timeline. We are on July, right? As you can see, July is the time that some consulting firm has already been very active recruiting for summer 26 internships and full-time jobs. And then this will last until maybe the end of September. Again, this is general consulting. And then finance, it starts even earlier. As you can see, it starts at January. And I know that some of you may already have a summer 26 internship in finance offer at hand. But because finance is so broad, and some that's investment banking, wealth management may finish recruiting already, but there are smaller firms and or corporate finance or commercial banking, all kinds of different other finance opportunity that will continue to recruit in the fall semester. But just to keep in mind that a majority of investment banking summer 26 internship has finished. Okay. Yeah, okay. I have a question about the career fairs on September 10th. Yes, it is September 9th, and it's already on Handshake now. Yeah, if you go to Handshake, this is the place that you can go. So if you go to the events and then click career fairs at your school, and you can see September 9th, that's the STEM career fair. By September 10th here, you can see the business one. Okay. Okay, go back to the recruiting timeline that we're talking about. So fall semester is often, a busy time for, consulting and some finance, and then some general business roles like, marketing and, like supply chain or some other opportunities like operations. And then tech companies, they also start late summer. So July and August is the time that you would be, start realizing that, okay, they are actually applying. And then a quick reminder that tech companies' business roles, so that's a marketing in Salesforce, or that's a finance at Google, they may not always post jobs on Handshake. So you would need to also follow LinkedIn in the company's official website. As um, there are fewer business roles in tech, so they don't always have to like create a Handshake account to post it there. So they just tend to do it on their own way. So just to keep in mind that you would need to do both. As I mentioned, on campus is mostly Handshake and in person, and off campus is anything that you would need to trace on your own. And then if you're interested in other areas like government, education, pharmaceutical, they mostly recruit throughout the year, as you can see, all the way from August to May. But just to keep in mind that the most popular fields like accounting, consulting, finance, and tech, they tend to recruit maybe 6 to like 18 months before the actual start time. And then so right now it's not a lot of opportunities yet, but it's time for you to start prepping for fall recruiting. And then for if you are interested in consulting, they are actively recruiting in the next few weeks. So keep this in mind that it does not capture all, but wanted to give you a quick sense that in the fall you will be busy, but then there was still opportunities in the spring semester. And some companies, smaller companies, they don't always follow the timeline of big companies like recruit very early, like a year ahead. They may realize, oh, they need an internship in February, and then started post an internship position there. So it's also very important to stay patient in the whole recruiting process. Okay. So today's session is called Getting Career Ready. As I mentioned that in the next 2 years, you would constantly improve yourself. So I want to introduce to you this Career Ready, framework that you can, utilize to have a self-assessment. So I know some students when they get like rejection or some setbacks, they will come to me and say, "Hey, I applied, but I did not, you know, I it's not moving forward, or I did not get any interview invites." So it's a good time for for you to like pause, to think about, hey, professionalism. This is based on a lot of surveys. Employees are looking for this 8 different areas. Professionalism include, so that's your dress code to networking events, or your reply to emails. Did you reply in a professional way? So those are the indicator of your professionalism, right? And communication, how well do you do in your um, networking, and then your interviews, right? And critical thinking, did you show that you are a problem solver in your resume, right? Because companies hire you, they want you to add value. And are you a good team player? Did you, in your application, did you indicate that you work well with others and in a team, work well with clients, other stakeholders? Also technology. Nowadays, a lot of industry would also need to apply technology. So have you indicate that you are familiar with certain technology softwares? And leadership, are you able to get people's buy-in, even from like a fundraise, for example, like a fundraising efforts or other scenario that you had to convince someone? Are you good at motivating people, right? So that can also show in your, that's a student organization experience or volunteers. Equity and inclusion, yeah, it's a topic that if you are workplace ready, are you well prepared to work with a diverse teams with different, that say not just race, gender, age, and then also that's different uh, communicating styles, personalities, right? And then also throughout the next 2 years, you will need to constantly develop yourself, knowing your career goals, understanding your strength and weakness, and reset your goals or have a plan B change. So it's a constant process to develop yourself. General business, it's identified in that slides as others, as you can see in our first destination survey report. So that's somebody you may be hired as, a customer success, at TikTok, and then that would identify as general business because it's technically not, finance, not accounting, marketing. So anything that it's not to categorize would count as a general business. But with a business major, as you can see, you can do, finance, functional areas. You can do like accounting, finance, marketing, operations, human resource, supply chain, business analysis, product management, all kinds of different fields. Okay. Yeah, thanks for the question. So I hope this framework give you a good way to reflect yourself. So far, what are some of the areas that you have already amplified in your resume and in your interview, and what are some of the areas that you really need to improve? Okay, so this getting career ready framework, it's very helpful for you to do a self-reflection. Okay. As I mentioned, like for the career fairs or other info sessions that you will be seeing posted very soon, you want to get ready for those employer events. So I already show you that do some research before you go, right? What do they do? What positions do they have? And then you may prepare some questions. So, for example, econ consulting in healthcare, you may wanted to do some research and realize, know what are some of the trending news in this field, and then bring that insight to the actual meeting, and then share with them that you have done your research, and then dress for success. And the campus has a place to we are actually the staff member. We are donating to a place, all the professional dress if you need help. But oftentimes, particularly for like finance, marketing, consulting, you wanted to dress a little bit formal for meeting with employers. And then you also want to practice your elevator pitch. How do you start the conversation? How do you introduce yourself? And then we will be doing a lot of events to help you with that. And then etiquette is also something that you wanted to keep in mind, that be professional, like shake hands, eye contact, follow up, and those are very important behavior, like employers are observing throughout the process. So I also wanted to quickly touch about job offers, as you may not imagine that you will get multiple offers eventually. And this happens so often with our HA students. A lot of students were kind of nervous, and then they did not notify us. And then they make some, not very informed decision before contacting us. So first of all, don't renege offers. This is something that you really wanted to build your professional reputations. And then when you have to have multiple offers and you wanted to negotiate with them, go talk to me, okay? And we can discuss some solutions and strategy for you to maybe try to ask for an extension of offer A, and then try to reach out to company B to accelerate the process. But try not to renege an offer, because it's not just for your reputation, but also for UC Berkeley's reputation. Okay, so when you have the offer, you want to evaluate not just salary, but also start date, and then like benefits, and then location, all the different kinds of elements. And then you can come to talk to me and or Janelle to see, like, is it a good fit? And if there's something that you want to negotiate, how do you start the conversation before you accept an offer, right? Don't say, hey, like, okay, this is September, I got my first offer, I had to accept it because I don't have anything else. And then keep recruiting, and then in December or January you renege the offer. So I know it's easy to think of, oh, I want to just do whatever that's best for me, but I wanted to remind you that you are building professional relationship with employers. So it takes courage to decline something that you don't really like, and then keep navigating the unknown. But I think you would gain very important skills throughout the process as well. Okay. Again, don't renege, consult instead. Okay. So I want to pause, and then we have about 12 minutes left, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you had. This today is for you to get a good basic understanding of how to navigate on-campus resources. And then this is week 1 of a 5-week series. We have a few other events lined up. So next week, we would have 2 UC Berkeley alum in consulting, which I know this is a popular field, and then it's actively recruiting right now. So very timely, we invited 2 Berkeley alumni. They're from LEK Consulting and FTI Consulting, and they're both class of 24, very recent alumni, come here to talk about what is it like to, what is the actualities as a first-year consultant, and then what are some of the skills they, they utilized every day. And then just a quick reminder that none of them did consulting internship. Consulting internship is harder to get compared with consulting full-time, but they did something else for their internship, but they still get consulting full-time. So they can talk about what are the options that you can choose to gain the relevant skills that is transferable to a consulting career. Strongly recommend, like, next Monday, 12 p.m., you can tune in to the same Zoom room to listen to this 2 alumni. Okay. Okay. Someone is aiming for a finance internship in tech. Oh, okay. Good. Okay. So you, first of all, you wanted to, know that what is finance internship in tech? So I would imagine, if I understand correctly, that's corporate finance, right? Meaning you do financial planning and analysis for a tech company. So there are a few tech companies like Amazon, Intuitive, and Intuit, sorry, and other companies that hires corporate finance roles. So what steps can you take for now to make consistent progress? So first of all, you want to connect with people who are working in this field. So as I introduced to you, like, let's say if you go to corporate finance, and then imagine Amazon. I'm just typing some companies, for example. And then, if you go to the Haas alumni group, and then you can try to find, people who are actually working in those roles. This is just an example. And then, for example, find someone who is in a finance role in a tech company, and then connect with them and do some informational interviews to get to know, hey, what is it like? What are some of the key, performance indicator of your finance role in a tech company, right? And then, so this is a very helpful process for you to understand what you can showcase in your actual application. And then next step is follow those companies that say, okay, you wanted to work for companies like Amazon, and then you may want to follow them. And then I know Amazon historically they hire non-tech roles, for example, business in spring semester. So you wanted to like keep knowing people who are in this role, and then so when you talk to them, you may want to ask their advice about what you can do to prepare for a role like that. And so that's Amazon's 2026 Finance Rotational Program Accounting Intern actually is accepting applications. So you may want to, read the job description and see, hey, what are their values? So that's and that's they mention a tool such as QuickBook. You may want to learn it right now, right? I would strongly recommend that you talk to people who are in those roles, follow the companies, and read the job description, and really, reflect about, hey, what are some of the things, technology that you can, study. And then, as I said, like, in Forage, you can also do this internship simulations. So try to find, it may not have all the exactly the corporate finance role that you're looking for, but you feel you still finish something finance related, it's also applicable to the role that you are applying. Okay, yeah. So this is being recorded, and then I'll be following up. If you register for this series, I'll send the recording after each event. Okay. Okay, a good question. So support for out-of-state internship. Unfortunately, we don't have funding at this moment. And then internship, most of the time is paid. And then so for oftentimes some companies may offer some like housing stipend. So once you get to that stage, I can help you with try to see if you can like negotiate with the employers. Okay. What field would be a career in the fashion beauty industry in the fall? Okay. For fashion beauty, I would strongly recommend that you join a student club called BCEC. So Business Careers and Entertainment. And then this is a very helpful student organization that you can connect to people who share the same career interests. And some of them are from, let's say, media study majors or some arts majors that can inspire you. You can join as a business major, but it's very important to connect with getting to know this field from different perspective, right? And then they host a lot of events. And then so yeah, it's a little harder for us as we located in Northern California, but we do have some alumni who are in like Disney, and then Fox, some other Southern California entertainment companies. But like I mentioned, this is a off-campus recruiting efforts. So you would need to go and try to find opportunity, connect with employers and connect with alumni in this field. Okay. Okay. So if you're interested in Goldman Sachs in particular, I think for summer 26 it may finish, but moving forward, so there is a window, very short window in around October-ish. So not all the internship would be accepted. And so some companies in around October-ish or like September, they would kind of reopen one or two positions that close maybe in like a week or so. So strongly recommend that you follow the company. And so once they post a position that opens only for a week, you get notified. And we can of course talk about why you are interested in this company in particular. But if you are like you want this company very strongly, then you may be a little bit flexible in other positions. So that's it. It doesn't need to be investment banking. It can be audit. It can be like compliance, right? And the key is to getting into the company. Or you can look up other options in the investment banking industry. So get your foot into the door, then brush your resume and keep aiming for like better opportunities. Okay. Window time. Yeah, wealth management. I think they often would have a longer application timeline, which means they are still open at this moment. And then I do see wealth management available in the fall as well. Okay, yeah. Thank you so much for the questions. Before we end, I wanted to share with you two quick surveys. So one quick survey, sorry. So this is our first time doing this summer program. So really want you to have send us some feedback to let us know how helpful session like this is to you, and then suggest any topics and programs that you would like to see in the future. So please take some time to fill out the survey. And then anyone in this group is taking pre-core tomorrow. Can you type 1 in the chat and let me know? Okay, great, Natalie. Great. So for pre-core, I know Joshua and Todd would be very interested in meeting you tomorrow, and I would be meeting you around as well. So just wanted to give you this like a sneak peek that we are organizing a BCE office visit. This is for we are taking you all the way from Haas to our office, and continuing students or those who are not taking pre-core, we would do this again in the fall. So don't worry. But next Tuesday, after you finish the class at 3 p.m., I'll be meeting you at Haas Courtyard and walk with you all the way to our office. And then that's the place that you can take the professional headshot that I just showed you. And then we can help you quickly review your resume or answer your career questions. And then we will be providing some donuts and fruits. So please sign up, and I'm so excited to meet you in person and then work with you. So for anyone else who attended today's session, please fill out the survey. And then yeah, we have 2 more minutes if anyone has more questions. Yeah, okay. The BC office is not open now because this week, so in the summer when most students are not around, we have the privilege to be able to work remotely for a few weeks. And this week is the week that we are all remote. But we would open next Tuesday. That's the day that we are taking all the pre-course students to our office to give you a tour. A lot of employee info session would take place in our space as well. So we just want you to know where we are. And then, of course, allow you to utilize the photo booth and then, interact with you, answer your questions, and then enjoy some sweet treats. So yeah, stay tuned for next Tuesday. Okay. Thank you, Rebecca, for the question. All right. Any more questions? Yes, July 15th. Cool. All right. Thank you so much. That concludes today's session.